Good day, guys, and welcome back to Jay's and JJ's Kitchen. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. So today we're going to do a little lasagna and try to get something different, I guess, for the seasons here, the holiday seasons instead of the norm. We're going to make a nice sized lasagna for you guys. So we're going to come back and show you our ingredients, and we'll get started. All right, for our ingredients, I just started to laugh there. Don't get intimidated by it because you can see my counter here is fairly full, and yes, we will use some of all of these ingredients. Uh, kind of sectioned it off to make it a little bit easier. I guess I'll start from my right and work left. This is our meats, right? I'm using ground sausage, ground pork sausage, right? So we've got some the mild Italian sausage. We've got ground veal, and we've got ground beef. So we've got 4 pounds of meat. And you know me, when I've got any kind of ground meat that I'm seasoning, ground beef especially, we're going to use some onion soup mix. We've got garlic, onion, got some sage, got some paprika here. And for my meat, I'm going to use my Lowry's seasoning salt and black pepper. We're going to get our meat, remove the skin off of the Italian sausage, get our meat mixed together, chop up some onions in it, season it with our spices here, get that browning. That's when I'll add some garlic into that, right? And that'll be our meats. Once we get that brown, we're done with that side. The next thing here that you see in front of me here, this section, is our sauce. So for that, we've got tomato paste, got a little tomato sauce, a can of crushed tomatoes. I always, I'm making something kind of big like this. I'll cheat and get one of the store-bought marinara sauces, and I just tend to go with this brand. You can go whichever one you like. Also, I'm going to put some mushrooms in it. And for the spices, we've got parsley here. Hope you guys can see that. We've got some fennel seeds. We've got our Italian seasoning, and we've got parsley, or basil. I'm sorry, that was a parsley over there. We've got the basil here. Bay leaves, of course. We've got some salt, crushed red pepper, and I'll be using black pepper also. So that's the only one that kind of crosses over between the meat and the sauce, okay? I'll get this right here before I forget about it. Of course, we'll have our lasagna noodles. We don't boil those. We soak them in hot water, and they will kind of tenderize or become flexible so we can work with that whenever we go to assemble that. Once we get our sauce made, our meat brown, sauce made, then we take our meat, add it to the sauce, let that simmer a little bit, and once that simmers, we're ready then to pretty much just put it together. Okay, as you can see, my setup of cheese is kind of big here, but that's to make a good lasagna. Generally, you would use anywhere between, I guess, 3 to 5 different types of cheese. However, today, what I'm doing and what I've done in the past too, I've got mozzarella, provolone, Swiss, I'll start here, Asiago. This is Parmesan. This is Romano. And this is our ricotta cheese. And for this, you'll see some nutmegs sitting here, and 1 egg. Whenever you go to assemble this, or whenever you mix your cheese, right? You mix your cheese. That's what I do. I'll mix all of mine together. Uh, and for our, I guess for lack of a better term, our wet, kind of like the wet cheese, that is the ricotta. We're gonna have that mixed with about a half a cup of Parmesan, the real fine grated Parmesan, right? And we'll add the egg and a little nutmeg to that, right? And so basically, once we when we start to put it together, you'll see what I'm talking about as far as adding the cheese. But our mozzarella, Asiago, the larger shredded Parmesan, and the Romano, those are mixed together. And so basically, whenever I add that to started building, add that layer of cheese, it's got all of those in there. Four of those in there. For our provolone, this is sliced provolone and sliced Swiss, so we'll just layer those on top once we put this down, the kind of the shredded cheese down. Then we'll layer it on top with some of the sliced cheese, and we'll just build our lasagna like that. All right. That being said, we're going to get our meat started. We got to cut up some onions here and get our meat seasoned and get it browned. And we'll get our sauce started, but we'll be checking back in each step of the way to make sure you guys see and understand what I'm doing here. All right, so we've got our onions chopped up here, sitting right there. So we got our meat here. I mixed mine a little bit first before I start throwing seasoning on it. So I get a little bit of, for me now, I get a better idea of what I'm working with and what I've got to, as far as the amount of seasonings that I'm using, right? So we kind of get this down there, get that ready so we get ready to work our seasonings in. Come with some onions. Yeah, we can just dump all those in. That was one kind of a large bulb of onion there. Get that in. Come back with our onion soup mix. There again, it's not a certain sequence or order that I add my spices in. I just add them, whichever one I kind of look at and pick up. So we've got 4 pounds of meat, so I'm using 2 packets of onion soup mix. Out the way. Our Lowry's. Notice once I use a spice, I kind of set it to my right. Start on my left and set it to my right. This is our paprika. Our sage. And some black pepper. And that's basically it for the spices that we use in our meat. Like I said, we'll add the garlic in once we start our meat browning good, and then we'll add our garlic to that. And that's it for the seasoning. We're just going to get this worked in and everything mixed together real good. And this is going into our skillet to get this brown. And from there, we'll put our sauce together and let that start to simmer and cook down together. Get those flavorings incorporated and well into our sauce. And then it's a matter of then adding the meat to the sauce and letting it kind of just simmer together so all of those flavors will mix in and be throughout the whole our sauce, right? So we're gonna get this mixed up and get this browning, and we'll come back. All right, so we're back and we're about finished. We've had two batches. So like I said, we got 4 pounds of meat, so I had to break it up into 2 segments there. But we've add our garlic in there and let that garlic simmer with that ground beef. So this right here is brown. We've got this batch brown, and we got our second batch brown. So now we're going to get this out of the skillet here and start working on our sauce. This is what you're trying to get to right here with your ground meat, right? So we've got that done. And we're going to get started on our sauce next. And once our sauce, like I say, gets 30 maybe 30 minutes of simmering or so, then we'll add the meat into the sauce and let that simmer maybe for another 30 minutes, and then we're ready to assemble our lasagna. So we're going to get back to you and show you how we do that. So we're going to get started on our sauce here. This is a simple process. I've got my cans open, I hope here. So we've got by the way, I'm doubling my recipe. So basically, if you were making this singular recipe, you would have one 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, right? However, like I said, I'm doubling that. So I've got 2. Get our tomato paste. So that would be 1 12-ounce can tomato paste. So I'm doubling, so you'll see me use 2. Should be good. I'm going to call it good. Anyway, right. Something else I didn't show you guys in the ingredient section. We also got to use some sugar. So basically, for the single version recipe of it, you're using 2 tablespoons. Like I said, I'm doubling, so I've got 1/4 cup. And there again, you can start out, you can taste test yours as you go to make sure that it is seasoned to your liking, right? Alrighty, got to stir here. This is starting to bubble on me. That's a good thing. Because we want to get it to kind of simmering pretty good, and we're going to turn it down and let it cook. Okay, so we got our sugar, our tomatoes, our tomato paste, got our sugar in. All right, next we want to go with some basil. And depending on if you're using fresh or I said mine is not really fresh. If you got fresh, a 1/2 cup is what you would use. So I got this is not really fresh. Although it's in the refrigerated section, it's not fresh, so I go a little over that. But there again, season to taste, right? So I'm doing double. I need a teaspoon of fennel seeds. There again, if you're doing the regular recipe, just use one. I'm sorry, a half a teaspoon. So we're using a full teaspoon. Good one. Same, 2 teaspoons of Italian for me. For you guys, that will be 1. So I kind of do help, keeping helping here. Right? Then we have our salt and our black pepper. So again, I normally go through and I kind of just cover my what I have in the pot to start off, right? Make sure you get a good covering of both the salt and the pepper. And then I come back later on once it kind of starts to simmer and those flavors start to mix together. Then I'll come back and either add more to it or adjust my spices as needed, right? We got the tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes, and the tomato paste. So that's a thick mix there. I haven't put in, since I'm cheating, or my recipe, I kind of you can either use tomato sauce. However, like I said, I'm going with instead of just a regular tomato sauce, I'm using a marinara sauce, right? Actual marinara sauce. Got that in there. And there again, if you're using tomato sauce with that's one time, I guess, one lasagna, instead of making it double like me, that would have been what was that? 15 ounce can of tomato sauce. But I got the jar, like I said, I'm doubling it, so mine's just 28 ounces, right? And we've got to get us, I'm going to go with about 1/4 cup of parsley. There again, if you're using fresh, you have to adjust that, right? Put that in there. And I like a little heat. I mean, the crushed red pepper is not going to set you on fire or anything like that, but it just adds a little I don't know, a little extra to most things that I cook, right? And we got our bay leaves. Throw a couple in there. We're gonna go with 4. And we're gonna call this good. Now we're gonna let this cook together here and simmer. Might look like we might need to add maybe a quarter to a half a cup of water, because this is a thick. See, it's a thick mixture here, and we need that to cook, like I said, for 30 minutes without it sticking. So we're gonna add some water to that. It's not gonna be plain water. I'm gonna make a chicken broth. Okay, I don't really do a lot of water. When a recipe calls for water, I kind of get brand new. Like I say, something, I'm going to give it flavor. So what I'm doing is getting together a cup of chicken broth, and we're going to slowly add that in there as needed, right? And kind of thin that out. Let it cook. good. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to add the remainder of it, which is not a problem. Just to the consistency that I want it. Make sure you don't want it too thin. But I mean, like I said, we're going to let this sit and simmer, so it's going to have a tendency to thicken, one, and two. Let's say we're adding our meat to it, so this is going to be just fine. So out of that, I have a cup. Actually, I put just about the entire cup in there. Just a little bit remaining. This right here, we're going to turn this down. It's going to be about low. And we're going to let that sit and simmer for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to come back and add our meat to it. We'll show you, come back and show you that when we get there. Alrighty guys, so we're back. We're ready to start assembling our lasagna, the last step in it, right? So we've got our oven preheating 375, because once we get this assembled, in my case, once I get both of these assembled, I'm gonna put it in the oven, cover it with foil. We're gonna spray it with some. I've got some Pam here. I've got olive oil. I've got the original Pam. So what we're gonna do is cover it with. Here we go. We're gonna cover it. Once we get it assembled, then we're gonna spray out some aluminum foil and cover that. And we're going to bake it for 25 minutes covered. Then we will uncover it and let it bake for an additional 30 minutes. But we're going to get there. So right now, the first thing we're going to do is assemble it. So the first thing you want to do, once I got my sauce ready, my filling or my sauce or whatever, however you want to refer to that, you can see that here. This is the sauce that the meat that we browned, the sauce that we made. Then we put everything together, right? So now it's just a matter of putting it together. So what we're going to do first is get this sauce on the bottom of our pan. I can get something to kind of spread this out. Yeah. After I finished my sauce and everything, got it cooked, right? I kind of tend to like to let mine cool some. So I kind of let it cool. I actually stuck it in the freezer and let that cool. So we're gonna put a layer of our sauce down, right? And then we're gonna come back with the layer of our noodles. Our noodles here. We took our noodles as we said earlier. We took those. Wow. Excuse me. I felt that coming on. So we took our noodles and we soaked them in hot water. There's no time or nothing on that. I just let mine soak. And they will basically get to this consistency where they're flexible and you can use them like this. So with this one, looks like I'm going to be able to put about 4 down on each layer. All right, so we got that. Now the next thing we want to do is come back with some of our ricotta. There again is no method. Well, I won't say that it's no method. It is a method. You want to get your sauce on the bottom, put your noodles down, and come back with ricotta on the top of that. However, once you get to that stage, then it is no method to which cheese you want to put on first or how you want to do that, right? So you're going to see me kind of layer this thing. Here I've got my mozzarella cheese mix. I've got my Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago cheese mix here, and I've got my I've got Swiss cheese, and I've got provolone here. So we're just gonna get that in there and get it layered, right? And like I said, there's no right or wrong way on which way or what you choose to put in, as long as you first get your sauce in, your sauce in, or your filling, however you want to refer to that. Come back with your ricotta on top of that, right? Then we can go with any of our cheese that we choose to go with. Uh, yeah, I don't know. This first layer, I'm gonna grab a handful of, and you can mix. I'm just doing this like this. You can feel free to mix all of your cheese together to keep it simple, and that works too. It's like I said, it's no right or wrong way to do your cheese layering. Just however, whatever sequence you choose to go in, right? Okay, so we got that. I'll throw a little of our Parmesan Asiago Romano mix on that too. Sprinkle some of that on there. All right, we got that. Now we're gonna go with some more noodles, and then on top of that, we're gonna do a sauce. So it's no right or wrong way to do this. It's just whatever you feel when you're doing it, you're okay. As long as you get everything in, you're good. That's cool. Right? So on top of our noodles there, we're gonna go with some of our ricotta again. This go around, and we can go with some more of our mozzarella. Remember, we have some various cheeses here, right? And this go around, I'm gonna hit some of our sliced cheese. This is the provolone. Layer this on there, like so. I'm gonna break this in half. Try to. And hit it on the side. Hit it again with some of our Parmesan Asiago Romano mix. All right. Come back again. Another layer of noodles. That's what I was looking for, a broken one, right? So yeah, if you're wondering what I'm doing over here, that's what I'm looking for. On top of the noodles, come back with Romano. On top with some more cheese. think this is just about as high as we want to be able to take this. So, we got more cheese on there. So we did a layer of the provolone, right? So this is going to be a layer of our Swiss. We can get this off of here. And in the pan where we want it, here we go. All right, time to do some more halving, if we can. Fill it in. I like to try to get all of my cheese and filling and noodles covering the entire dish. So that way, no matter when you get a serving of it, you've got everything that's in there, right? That's just me, and I would implore you to try to do the same thing. That way, nobody's missing anything. That's cool. So now, from there, we'll hit it with a little more sauce on top. Just spread it out over it. Make sure we're good. Just like so. And we hit it with a little more, sprinkle that top side with a little more cheese. So like I said, we're gonna cover this, and we're gonna hit our aluminum foil with some of that Pam to try to make sure that cheese does not stick to our foil while we're baking it. That initial 25 minutes of baking, and then, like I said, we'll remove that foil and finish it off that last 30 minutes uncovered. And guess what, people? We have a homemade lasagna that I think everybody will like and you can be proud of. So try this and let me know what you think about it, right? There we go. Tray number one, ready for the oven. So we're gonna get our other trays done until we run out of filling and cheese. And we're gonna get this baking. And like I said, we're gonna bake it we're gonna cover it first. Bake it covered. Don't forget to spray your foil that you cover it with for 25 minutes. Then you remove that covering and bake it for an additional 30 minutes and you'll be good to go. So we're going to get the rest of these made up and we'll be back with you to show you our finished product. Okay guys, so we're wrapping up our lasagna, right? So we went with, to recap, Okay, so we started off by seasoning and browning our meat. We did made our sauce, let that simmer, and then we added our meat into that and let that simmer, which was about an hour and a half process, right? Then it's okay. Once we got that, we cooled our filling, which is our meat and our sauce. We cooled it off, and we got our cheeses, our ricotta, uh, egg and nutmeg mix, and our Parmesan Romano Asiago, basically in one dish that we had, and we had our mozzarella separated. And then so we took our noodles, put those in hot water, let those sit until they got soft, about 30 minutes, right? And then we build our lasagnas and we put them in the oven. We baked them at 375 for approximately. I did mine for 30 minutes. I'll tell you that. I went for 20. Looked at it in 25 minutes. I added an additional 5 minutes on that. Uncovered it and let it go for 30 minutes. And then we're done. All of our cheese are melted. We got some browning on the corners, and so we're basically done with our lasagna. Check it out, try it. Let me know what you think about it. If you try it, let me know your opinion. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching my channel.